Today, and we're glad to be here with you for the program Good Morning Anambra on ABS TV. I hope you had a good weekend because, yes, I did have a great one. And I have my colleague seated right here with me this morning in the person of Ajulu Chukwu Okabwe. Good morning, Ajulu.
Good
How was your
morning.
weekend?
Good morning, dear Anambra. Good morning, Chidima. Well, I had a splendid weekend. Thank God we are here, bright and, hearty to just begin the week with our newspaper review.
All right, just to let you know that we're going to take a short break and we have our guests already seated with us in the studio this morning. When we come back, we introduce our straight into discussion. My name is Chidima Oranwa. Stay with us. Hi, welcome back to the show. And with us in the studio this morning is Samuel Ololo. Samuel is a public affairs analyst. Glad to have you on the show, Samuel.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Dan and Bra. Naldo.
And we also have Comrade Bonnie Ozonkwaku. He is a President General Emeritus in Enugu Community Development Union, ECDU, National Liaison Officer, Anambra State Association of Town Unions, ASATU, for Anambra Central Senatorial Zone, and Secretary, Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities, SANU, Unity Branch. He is also a recipient of so many awards and finally a public affairs analyst. Glad to have you on the show this morning.
Good morning, Indianambra. Welcome to a brand new week.
Okay. All right, quickly, let's go straight to what we have this morning. We are starting off with stories that are trending on our website this morning. And the very first story we have a countdown to Anambra Art and Craft Exhibition 2023, Anambra State Special Marshal Sectorial Workshop ends in Oka. Saludo calls for more community involvement in repositioning schools. Saludo reassures of brighter prospects for Indianambra. These are the stories trending on our website this morning. Samuel, let's start with you.
Okay, so for me, the arts and crafts exhibition, of course, we know the importance of arts and crafts in development of, to showcase what the abilities that a state has. So I'm also looking forward to that, given that in the 21st century, the youths are diversified. We don't have any space to participate in politics. We are still fighting for that political space for the youths to participate. But I know where the youths are doing well is basically in the entertainment industry, which also has to do with these arts and crafts that is coming forth. So we are going to see a lot of youths, and then I'm happy that the state government is really supporting this. In the past, a lot of things has actually happened, and the government has been giving its kudos to it. We want to see more youths showcase the good features of Anambra State. We want to see youths showcase their ideas, and this has a way of bringing people out of poverty. It has a way of reducing insecurity in the country, and then specifically in Anambra State. We want to use this. I hope this will be a gelling point for youth to really come together beyond participating at the state level, begin to go global, and that is part of what we are looking forward to. So just as Anambra State is gearing towards that, I am specifically looking forward also participating in that arts and cultural exhibition to really see what it holds for us. Then finally, I was in Abuja last week. The structure of the governor before it used to be PPP, but now they now call it PPCP. That's a public-private community partnership. I'm still talking about the governor trying to call community members out, and thank God ASATU is here. We really need to solidify that because it was really appraised. Anything that the government is doing without the involvement of the community is almost next to nothing. But once the communities are part of it, I bet you the sustainability will be really strong.
Thank you so much for that, Comrade.
Well, thank you very much. The community has come to be the fourth tier of government in Anambra State. Anambra State is a model. In fact, no other state in Nigeria has adopted this model to the level it is in Anambra State. So that brings us to the issue of repositioning the schools in the communities. A clarion call from the government. You see, in Anambra State, we have 179 communities. In these 179 communities, you will see one government school or the other in each of these communities. None of them is lacking in terms of one government school or the other. Some have more than one, some have two, some have three. Now, the communities should partner government in protecting the schools in their communities. The stakeholders of these communities should be involved. Funds, you see, the management of schools in communities must not be left for the government alone, because these schools are in communities. Communities should protect that which are domiciled in their communities. In Enugu, for example, we, through the instrumentality of the town union, we partner with the principals of all the schools in our communities. Sometimes we go to take some of their needs without waiting for government. You know, we encourage the teachers in some of these schools, particularly those who are living, miles away from the schools. So we give them stipends. We encourage them, because apart from what government pays them, as a community, we partner with them, because majority of the children in these schools are from the immediate community where the schools are sited. So these things should not be left for government alone. Communities must be involved. They will take it as a priority. And they should also protect the government infrastructure. You see some of these schools, transformers are installed there, generators are installed there, lab equipment are installed there. Overnight, thieves will come and take all of them away. Where are the vigilante men of these communities? What are they doing? The era where government properties are run as nobody's properties, the era is gone. We must, guard these things jealously, because they belong to our children.
Okay. So let's quickly go over to our first paper under review this morning.
And the first paper we'll have for review this morning is the Daily Sun, and the banner headline there says, Tinubu orders immediate rescue of abducted Zamfara female students. And the writer there says, ACF demands rejigging of security strategies over students kidnapping. And we also see that in the picture there on the face of the Daily Sun, you could see vehicles almost submerged, and that's happening in Agege in Lagos after downpour hit that part of Lagos. Again, Nnamdi Kanu's American lawyer demands. Then we have Atiku accuses president of misleading Nigerians through propaganda. You'll see the full of this story on page 28 of the Daily Sun. Man, Nassima Neka orders asks FG to avert NLC strike. And the writer there says, urges parties to be honest with each other in negotiation. UNIZIC dismisses 3 staff, suspends cleric, 14 orders for misconduct. UBA, AFCTA, partner in $60 billion fund for SMEs in Africa. And we also have David Mark hits INEC hard on 2023 general elections. And the writer there says, describes polls as most controversial in Nigeria's history. Quickly, Samuel, let's start with you with this issue of the banner headline, Tinubu orders immediate rescue of abducted Zamfara students. On issues bordering on insecurity, does the president actually need to give such order before we get to know that we need to actually get our acts together in protecting, you understand, civilians and then citizens of this country?
So looking at it, basically, in a place where things are really working, everything should be in motion. You don't need to get the approval of the president before you do what you need to do. And that brings me to the series of security meetings that the president have had with the service chiefs, even before he traveled for the UNCA program that was done in New York. They also had security meeting. Even when he went to India, they also had security meetings. So the question is, what really do they discuss? And that really brings me back to what is going on in Nigeria. Insecurity has festered for a long time. And it now shows that whoever, the actors, the non-state actors that are propagating this insecurity are now seeming to be stronger than the government, or the government is complicit. Because I see no reason. I want to believe that nobody is stronger or bigger than the government. I want to believe that. But if ill continue to happen and the government seem to be doing nothing, then we would have no other option than to say they are powerless. But this is also bringing us back to what security should be like. I want to believe that in Nigeria, we should really have this strong relationship between the citizens and the security apparatus in multi-dimensional angles. I'm looking at it, what kind of information does the citizens feed the security apparatus? And then when the security agents get this information, how do they make use of it? Are they also properly equipped? How is their morale like? And that is also bringing me back to what we are facing in Nigeria, the economy, the administration. So I think we now have a new administration and want to see things going on differently. We don't want to be in the era where students would continue to be adopted, where we are crying that there is high out-of-school children, where we are crying that the girl child has been neglected for a long time, and this time they are just targeting soft spots. And the soft spot that they are targeting, you can imagine, are the girls. In as much as there is nobody that should really be adopted in Nigeria, that should not be condemned, really. But does it mean that these people, I mean, it's obvious that these people have their own mindset. And
what is baffling me here is that ordering immediate rescue of adopted students means that we know the people that adopted them. Because how can you order for immediate?
Okay, so during Goodluck's time, let me go back far way back. Whenever things happen, you hear them say we are on top of the situation. So government must always make a pronouncement. So sometimes, even when they have no clue first, they must say something. So when he's ordering, he's just trying to make you understand that he's in charge. I go and do something. So for how long you are going to do it, you will be surprised for 1 month they're still trying to carry out that order. But let it be that he has made a pronouncement.
Okay, let me come to Comrade Bonny also on this issue. You understand, we are seeing the right that they're saying demands rejigging of security strategies over student kidnapping. We're not just talking about the incident of the Zamfara students. We're talking about the insecurity status of this nation. What it bears right now, it's really frightening. People find it very difficult to go to the farm, and then bring food to the table for Nigerians. Do you think the rejigging of security strategies will definitely yield a positive output to bringing an end to this insecurity we're having across all fares? We're not just talking about the students in Zamfara that were adopted.
Well, I don't know what they are trying to rejig that they've not rejigged before. You see, this thing has come from bad to worse. And every time government goes on the same rhetoric, we are rejigging, we're on top of the situation is under control, and things are going out of hand every day. Just like my co-panelist rightly said, he don't need any special order to anybody to do his work. If you actually know what it tends to be a commander-in-chief. So you don't need to order the police commissioner, you don't need to IG or anybody. These are institutions set to function minimally. Therefore, they should take the business of security serious. These bandits, these criminals, they don't have the resources the Nigerian security has. The Nigerian army is well equipped. The Nigerian police is well equipped. What we lack here is leadership. Somebody who will take charge, somebody who will take control and do the right thing at the right time. So when the right thing at the right time is done, we don't need all this grammar. And I tell you, my brother, the bushes where these criminal elements keep their abducted victims, these bushes are not impregnable. These bushes are there. Sometimes they're not even far from the residential houses. Because if you had a cause to interview some of the rescued victims, they would tell you that they were kept in a house in a local area, in a village. So, and sometimes the villagers are also complicit in this because they see these criminal elements roaming from one place to the other, but nobody will go to make any report. And of course, when you ask them, they say, oh, we are afraid if we report, are you sure that our identity will be protected? So there's a mistrust in the whole arrangement.
Okay. All right, quickly, let's go over to the next paper. But just to let you know that you can be part of our discussion ongoing in the studio this morning, just dial the number displayed in front of your television set. Let's take the Daily Times and the Daily Independent together. The front page of Daily Times, I think, is dedicated to Senator Dr. Choba William Okadibo, fondly remembered. After 20 years, we still miss you. Love as a husband, kindness as a father, knowledge as a teacher, service as a politician, sagacity as a lawmaker, faith as a Christian, swagger as Oyi of Oyi. Continue to rest in peace. Amen. And then we have other stories there. 2023, Wike contributed nothing to Tinubu's Rivers victory. APC campaign cancel all majors to advance Nigeria's energy sector with a $55 billion investment. Bayelsa berates the church over predominant prosperity message. Quickly, let's move over to the Daily Independent newspaper this morning. New AG, acting CBN governor, deputy's assumption of office wrong. Lawyers, economists says it's a patent illegality, presumptuous. Then UBA rolls out of $6 billion financing solution for SMEs across Africa. Serap asks Tinubu to probe missing $15 billion, 200 billion naira of all revenues. Insecurity, Ohaneze advocates non-kinetic approach in Southeast. Tinubu asks security agencies to rescue abducted Zamfara students. Okay. UNIZIC dismisses 2 lecturers, suspends 6 for fraud and extortion. Disagreement trails extension of AOC for Nigeria Eagle Airlines as a $30 million aircraft engine keeps airline aground. And then down there, judge is wrongly accused of delaying justice, appeal court's judge. Mohbad reaped rewards of his actions while alive, says Bakare. MAG tasked National Assembly to prioritize legislation to end the controversial elections, says 2023 elections remains most contentious since 1999. Let's start with your comrade. Because we've seen the story in the other paper, the people that were dismissed at UNIZIC, 2 lecturers, and also suspension of 6 others for fraud and extortion.
Well, thank you very much. This is in the public domain. In as much as I'm not authorized to speak on this, the SAVC on Public Relations, Dr. Ojukwu, and the acting PRO may be authorized to give details on this. But this is the public domain, and as a public affairs analyst, I want to tell you that university has internal mechanism of dealing with a lot of issues, dealing with misconduct by students, misconduct by lecturers, misconduct by non-teaching staff, misconduct by everybody. And as long as the issue followed the due process, those that were indicted also have right of appeal. So university is not a banana republic. University is run with rules and regulation. First of all, you're invited to a panel where you'll be given an opportunity to defend yourself. So it's not that you are just caught and the punishment is meted out. But be that as it may, this is not the first time. This is an ongoing process. People are suspended, people are dismissed, people have their salary, reduced for one misconduct or the other. But maybe this particular one attracted the banner headline because of the renewed effort of the university management to sanitize the university and, rid university of bad elements. So I say kudos to the university for this. Just like I said, everything followed due process, and they also have rights to appeal if they feel that the judgment is not favorable. But as stakeholders, we must stamp out, all forms of misconduct in this great citadel of learning. University is supposed to, staff in university are supposed to show example. I mean, if you connive with students to inflate their marks, if you extort from students, I don't know where you want these students to be in future, what you want them to represent in future. So we commend the university management as union activists. This is what we also want. We want sanity in the system. We want people to have the sense that they are working in a distant environment, devoid of all forms of misconduct on the order. So that's all for now.
All right, thank you so much. Samuel, let's also see the big story in front of the Daily Independent, where some lawyers and economists are saying that the new AG, that's acting CBN governor and deputies assuming office, that is illegality, patent illegality. Do you see that? Do you agree with them? Or don't you think that it's high time somebody assume that office so that when we come to financial policies, we have somebody that will stand in for us as a nation?
So, looking at what the process has been, the system in Nigeria, there's nothing new. After all, the EFCC, under the EFCC chairman, under the then former president, Buhari, acted for how many years? When he goes to the Senate, he would not be confirmed. The president then still left him there. So it is still what is happening, just that this is now in the, as it has to do with the economy, then Japanese Bank, which is the CBN. Ordinarily, our laws, our distant laws are clear. A name should be sent to the House, that's the legislators, for their consent. That is just how it should be. And if you check where the presidency was, should I say, smart by half, when they said he would resume acting position pending the confirmation of the Senate. So that means they knew that he is supposed to be confirmed by the Senate. Now this still brings us back to our constitution. I mean, for goodness sake, I think we need a sane society, a society where things should happen seamlessly. When we're talking about security and insecurity, we're talking about why the security apparatus need to just work without waiting for the president to give them approval. It is because over the years, Nigerians have done things at the discretion of the leader. So when we have smart leaders, things happen in a smart way. But when we have dull leaders, we begin to complain over a lot of things. And then, I'm sorry to say, in Nigeria, we know what we really have had over the years. And this is still bringing me back, still talking about leadership, to what David Mark is saying. I wonder why since February or thereabout that the heat of the general election has been on, he's just opening his mouth to talk now. And forgetting that he was one-time Senate president, they also had the opportunity to set Nigeria in the right direction. If you challenge them, they will tell you that they've done what they know they could do. And we know issues are dynamic. But what we wanted from their assembly, what we wanted was for them to give us a quantum leap that we have not really seen. So for me, I think the presidency at every point in time needs to make sure that they follow the due process, they follow rule of law. What stops you? I know if the current Senate President, Akpabio, is in the good books of the president. That is why sometimes he wears his cap and he wears the president's logo to really show that he's supporting the president. So at that, what he just needed to do is they should forward the CBN and the four. They cannot be in doubt because the acting CBN governor worked with the president. Then when he was the governor
of Lagos.
He worked with him. So, and the governor, this president is good at working with his cronies, people that he has built. If you check well now, he's now been accused of running urbanization agenda. But that apart. So he cannot be in doubt, really. He knows these people, he has worked with them, they have been loyal to him. For him to have even mentioned him and brought him up, it's just within a matter of hours, they have the template, send it to the Senate president. Well, I know the Senate is on recess, really, so maybe that could also be issues. But what we are saying is, we want legality to thrive in Nigeria, so that if legality was traveling in Nigeria, Mohbad's case would not even have happened, because people would be afraid to do things. And that's why I commend you, Nizik. When people are found wanting, don't spare them. Others will learn lessons, and the system will be seen.
Thank you, Samuel. Let's go to the next paper we have for review this morning, which happens to be this day newspaper. And the banner headline there is saying, NLC insists on indefinite strike. Says federal government had enough time to resolve dispute. And then the writer says, business operators to government, labor, incessant industrial action bad for ailing economy, the marketing Nigeria. You can see our president will revamp Nigeria's economy, boost energy sector, says Rene. FLNG boss that's coming. Tinubu orders security to rescue abducted Gusau Varsity students. Atiku's aide attacks Tinubu again. Releases list of administrators, 10 big lies in 119 days. And then the writer there says, knocks president on false claims of planned meeting with Biden, says fuel subsidy back, and despite government silence. We have here business operators to government, we've seen that. And then King's College Old Boys annual dinner, you can see there. If you see the picture of the old boys there, you'll definitely be wondering if you went to the right secondary school. Quickly, let's go to the next paper that we have here, which is the Vanguard. And the banner headline is saying, NLC battles OPS over stand on planned nationwide strike. And then the writer there still saying, NLC alleges plots to sabotage struggle on palliative. Economy can't afford nationwide strike. That's OPS insists. Urges NLC, FG to avert industrial action by all means. Asks federal government to demonstrate good faith in keeping promises. Pro-labor CSOs urge NLC to declare indefinite strike. Pledge to support NLC in fighting for workers and others. That's what you're seeing there on the banner headline of the Vanguard. Nnamdi Kanu's attorney, Bruce Fein, renews call for his release. And we also have here, Wike revokes 22 allocations, gives 21 embassies, 168 others 3 months grace. UNGA, Tinubu will revamp Nigeria's economy, boost energy. That's coming from the FLNG boss. And then we also have here, NG Eagle, experts to fault NCAA's transfer of AOC to new owners. We've seen the story of the kidnapped girls. Manufacturers incur heavy losses as forex crisis, inflation bites harder. You can find that on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. And then let's see what we have here. Home and abroad, Tinubu's Nigeria is taking its rightful place. Well, diphtheria kills 10 as Jigawa records suspected cases. And then we have here Olarinyoye mints 3 gold medals for Team Lagos in weightlifting. And quickly, let's see, because of want of time, if we can just touch another paper before we now review 3. The Nation newspaper is what we have next for review. Federal government steps up action against rising insecurity. President gives marching order. Ohaneze, ACF, raised dust over killings and kidnappings. 544.2 billion COVID-19 loan debtors put under watch. And defaulters blocked from credit. And don't tamper with nation's power assets during strike, minister warns. And then we have what Cardoso should do as CBN boss by financial experts. Owners of revoked 189 Abuja plots get 3 months relief. Give Nigeria new constitution. And then we have Alfa Babalola urges FGE, African equities, lead global stock market returns. And with that, let's hint on one of this. There's a banner headline. Let's go back to this day, and then we talk about the issue of Atiku and then Buhari, and the present administration about Atiku's aide attacks Buhari again against releasing 119 big lies said in 10 big lies said in 119 days of this administration. Comrade.
Well, let's quickly, I'll come back to let's quickly go to NLC because time is not our friend. and because that's my constituency. You see, the strike does not favor anybody. It doesn't favor the workers, it doesn't favor government. And since it doesn't favor these two parties, what it means is that these two parties must come to an agreement. Strike is a last resort. And what government is now doing is trying to push NLC to adopt that last resort. Because it's a last resort when negotiations has failed. And from the way things are going now, negotiation is about to fail. Why? Government has not offered anything meaningful on the table. You see, we're into a process of collective bargaining. You bring your own, I bring my own. What has government offered on the table that NLC will say, okay, we'll take this or we'll reject it? Nothing has been offered. So government keep on dilly-dallying and shifting the goalposts, delaying the whole process. It's not good. A government will willingly enter into an agreement with the workers' union without any compulsion. This government will go back and renege on almost all these agreements. So it doesn't help the system. It's not as if these workers are over-demanding. These are agreements that you entered into. Please implement it. Give workers a cause to smile that this thing has been implemented. Then all this issue of strike and no strike will be over.
All right. Well, on that note, we want to say a very big thank you to both of you for joining us this morning on Press Review. Thank you so much, Samuel, for being part of the review this morning.
Thank you very much.
And also to you, Camry Daniels on Father. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Well, that's it on Press Review this morning. Thank you so much, our viewers, for being part of it. We are going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll see you at the other side. Stay with us.